there. I want to thank you for joining me today for episode 28 of MidMOMama. My name is Jenny and I live in Sedalia, Missouri in the United States, where I am making in the Midwest. My program is about yarn crafts and recipes and whatever else I decide I want to talk about. And in today's episode, I don't know what we're cooking. I don't know what I'm baking. I don't know what's going on. Today is a very unusual episode. I'm filming it on the road today because I had Bible study this morning and I'm on my way to my folks' house, and my episode for the third Thursday is tomorrow. So I'm busy and I haven't had time to develop my episode. So we're not going to have a pattern showcase today, and we're not going to have crafts because I have to hold my camera, and I can't hold my camera and show you my knitting at the same time. And so I'm going to talk about Mama Reads. We're going to have a Mama Reads segment, and I'm going to talk about just whatever, and then that's going to be my episode this time. So without further delay, let's get on with the show. So now it's time for Mama Reads. And I haven't finished any books lately, but I am currently reading a book called Never Enough by somebody. I'll find out who I'm reading. I'm still doing 1 Peter, A Living Hope in Christ by Jen Wilkin. We had our 7th session today. We have 2 more sessions and we'll be done with 1 Peter. It's been a fantastic study. We really enjoy that. And I'm currently reading Never Enough by Kelly Elliott. And I'm more than halfway done with it. And it's okay, but it's very much a secular romance. And there's stuff in there that I'm not interested in anymore. So, as far as reading about it on other people, and they're young, so they're playing the young people games and hard to get and all that, and it's just not what I like nowadays. But I'm sticking with it because, it would be a good story if it wasn't for the sex. They really have to spell it out to you anymore, and it's just, I would rather have an implied sex scene rather than actual play-by-play. You know what I mean? Those days are over. I don't want the play-by-play. But that's all I'm reading. I'm doing 1 Peter, A Living Hope in Christ, and Never Enough by Kelly Elliott. Well, that's all I'm reading for now, and that's good. So let's move on to the next segment. So we're driving to Jefferson City. So normally after Bible study, I go to my folks' house, and this is the way we go. We're on US 50, just traveling east, and it's a country drive. Right now we are with the road sign to Beeman. We went by. We've never been to Beeman. Well, we're just traveling down the road, and we're on our way to Jefferson City by the map, and then we're going north to Holt Summit, which is the town my folks live in. And it takes about an hour and 20 minutes to get there from Sedalia. But this is our route, and it looks pretty good. We go through about 3 towns before we get to Jefferson City. We go through a little town called Syracuse, which is in Morgan County, and then we go through a town called Tipton. And we like to stop in Tipton because they have a Dutch bakery. It's an Amish store, and they sell bulk foods. So we go to the bulk food store sometimes and buy stuff from their bakery, and they have a lady that makes really good jelly. So we buy her jellies. And they have candy, lots of candy and snacks and stuff. But we're not going to go in there today because there's nothing that we need. And then after Tipton, we go through California, Missouri, and then after California, we get to Jefferson City. But we don't really run through the town of California. It used to. US 50 used to go smack dab in the middle of California, but they diverted the highway. So we just go outside of California now. But this is Midwestern Missouri. It's kind of got hills, and we got farms and stuff. There's a sheep farm. Have we passed the sheep and alpaca farm? Up here on the right, there's a sheep farm. They haven't always done sheep, but they just started doing sheep. And then a couple of weeks ago, we discovered they were doing alpacas too. So we have a sheep farm and an alpaca farm coming up. If there's nobody behind us, maybe Scott will slow down so we can see the sheep and alpacas. Oh yeah, they're up here on the right. Oh, there's construction going. So those are the sheep farm, and the red barn. They're on the other side of the barn too. And then the alpacas are coming up on the right.
Way up there.
Yeah, they're way up there. It's kind of hard to see.
Zoom with that.
I can zoom.
There's a black one.
So yeah, there's a black sheep, and there's a dark brown one right there. Those are sheep right there. You can probably see those. I'm zoomed in about as far as I can go. Oh,
at the very top of the hill, by the metal fencing, there's 2 alpacas. There's a tan one, and they're black or brown. I can't tell from here.
So this is nice. We're stopping for construction. You know, it's summertime, so when the fair weather's out, then they start improving the roads, which is what one would expect when you're driving in the summertime. But the alpacas are on the other side of the sheep, so that's pretty fun. And let's see. I'm not going to show you my knitting progress today because I'm in the car and I can't let go of my camera. And I talked about my reading, so I'm reading books. And what else? I will do some recipes, but I don't know what they are. I know what I'm doing. One is a chicken recipe, and then one of them is a brownie recipe, but I don't know the exact title. But I will do chicken and brownies, homemade brownies. So that'll be good. And what else? Whatever. This is no fun. Waiting in line to go. We got a house right here who's got Joy. They have Joy, and the Easter display Easter bunnies and stuff, even though Easter is way past. But it's adorable. They got cute little rabbits. You're not in the frame, don't worry, honey. My husband's sitting right next to me, and he's trying not to be in the movie. But he's doing good. I'm zoomed way in so you can see stuff. I'm going to zoom out. There we go. And now you can get a better picture of my husband. There he is. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
There you go. Oh yeah, life is fun. Driving along. My knee was 50. What else? So a lot's happened in the past couple of weeks. We had Easter, and I didn't even say Happy Easter to you guys last episode because I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Sometimes I live day by day. I don't plan ahead very much. And Easter's a holiday that we really don't do a whole lot for, other than we go to church and we celebrate our risen Lord. But usually we haven't typically gotten together for a family meal or anything. We had ham steaks on the grill, which were okay, and because it was just Scott and I, so we had ham steak and what else? Corn. I think we had corn and scalloped potatoes. But I did the box mix scalloped potatoes. But I didn't make anything from scratch for Easter. Except deviled eggs. I made deviled eggs. So I had ham and eggs for Easter, and that was good. And for Sunday school, I gave the kids little treat bags. So they had a little Hershey rabbit and a little Reese egg and a handful of bubble gum. Double bubble gum. I think it's double bubble. It's the pink kind that you get in the tub, so I think it's double bubble. That was good. I chewed some myself. I haven't had chewed bubble gum in a long time, and that was good. But I get tired of chewing. I used to be a gum chewer all the time, but I got out of the habit. And now I have a hard time. I try to practice chewing on my less dominant side, the side that had the tongue surgery. But it's hard to keep stuff over there. Because the free flap I have doesn't act like a tongue. And sometimes I'm worried about biting it, because I have bit it. It doesn't bleed. But sometimes I bit that thing really, really hard. And I'm worried that it's going to bleed. But it hasn't. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Oh, what else? We're just stopped in traffic right now, so I'm just talking to be talking. The Mama Cooks recipe I used was for California chicken. So this is a very simple chicken recipe. It calls for 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 1 tablespoon olive or vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon water. It called for 2 teaspoons of garlic pepper, but I didn't have that. I had a Weber seasoning called garlic parmesan seasoning, so I used 2 teaspoons of that. The recipe called for a half a teaspoon dried basil, half a teaspoon onion powder, and 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So in a small bowl, combine lemon juice, oil, water, garlic pepper or garlic parmesan seasoning, basil, and onion powder. It says brush over both sides of the chicken and then saute it in a nonstick skillet until browned and juices run clear. But what I did was I measured all the liquids and put them in a bowl, and then I added all the seasonings to the liquids and I whisked them together, and then I just coated my chicken in that seasoning and sauteed them just like that. And they came out delicious. We really enjoyed them. And, you know, it's such a simple recipe. You can make it any old way you want to. You can use any combination of seasonings that you like. And I think it would turn out good. So that's how I made California chicken. So here we are coming upon the sheep, and I'm zooming in so you can see them a little bit better. So those are the sheep farms, and those are really chubby brown sheep. So I don't know what kind they are. They're really fluffy too. It's time for them to get shorn. And then on the other side are the alpacas. Usually they're out. Hopefully they're not in their barn, but usually they're hanging around right here. So hopefully we'll see them. Oh, there's a couple.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you can see that. There they are. I don't know if you can see them, but those are alpacas right there. Alright, there's some over here. So that was delightful to discover that they started raising alpacas right there. They sure are adorable. And they've only just started that alpaca ranch and sheep ranch within the last 3 months, I would say. So it's fairly new. It's new addition, so that's really nice. So now we've come across our 2-lane highway has become now a 4-lane divided highway. And eventually we will be, so if you take this exit right here and then hang a left, you'll be in California. And here's the California sign. Of course, this truck is trying to pass us, so, yep, he passed right in front of the sign. There we go, there's California. Isn't that nice? So it'll take us probably about 10 more minutes before we get to Jefferson City. So I think this is a good time for me to pause my video and change the battery so that I have a fresh battery to make it through Jefferson City. So I'll be right back. So here we have a greenhouse. It used to be owned by Bonnie Plant Farm, but I don't think it is anymore. I think it's independently owned. They have a nursery, and this is still 2-lane divided or 4-lane divided highway. It's a pretty drive. Once it becomes a 4-lane divided highway, though, it gets kind of dull. To me, this is the boring stretch of the highway, because it's well, there's really not a whole lot to look at, and there's very few billboards to read, so it's just kind of dull. Although the rolling hills are beautiful. It's nice and green. The grass is nice and green because we've had a lot of rain. Except for right there, it's kind of spangly. But the prairie lands pretty and green pasture lands. I mean, prairie. Is a prairie and a pasture the same? I don't think so. I guess it's pasture land, not prairie. Pastures are what livestock feed off of, and prairie is undomesticated land, right? That's what I think. So prairie is like undisturbed land, and pasture land is for livestock to feed off of. Love living in Missouri. Missouri is a wonderful state because Missouri is right in the middle of the United States. So just about wherever you want to go in the U.S., you're no more than a day's drive to get there. Unless you're in the far west or the far east side of the United States, then you might take a couple days to get there. But for the most part, anywhere you want to go in any direction, you don't have far to go, which is nice. And the state of Missouri has a lot to offer. If you're country folk, there's plenty of country land. If you like cities, there's plenty of urban areas where you can, where you get modern conveniences and stuff. There's lots of rivers and lakes for you to vacation at if you're a vacation person, and whatever you're looking for. It gets really, really hot in the summertime, and it gets cold in the winter. But when we have foul weather, it only lasts for a few days and it's gone. It doesn't last for long. Like even in the worst weather, when we have ice storms and stuff, usually by the third or fourth day, it's over with. There's another market right there with a greenhouse. I made brownies recently, and I made them from scratch for a change. So I ended up making a deep dish brownie, and I was laughing because I ended up putting frosting on it, and my husband said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm gilding the lily." And he said, "What?" And I said, and I had to show him the recipe because there's a little intro before the recipe. And it said, the little paragraph, it said, "The addition of baking powder makes these tempting brownies a bit more cake-like than some fudgy brownie recipes." It says, "If you wish to gild the lily, top them with chocolate frosting." So I told him I was gilding the lily, and he hadn't heard of that before. So I showed him the little paragraph. I said, "See, I'm making the lily even more beautiful." And he started laughing, and so we had a good laugh about that. But the recipe I used is for deep dish brownie. It makes an 8-inch square baking pan worth of brownies. So you will need 3/4 cup of butter or margarine melted, 1.5 cups sugar, 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract, 3 eggs, 3/4 cup all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup baking cocoa, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt. Blend butter, sugar, and vanilla in a medium mixing bowl. Add eggs Beat well with a spoon. In a small bowl, combine flour, cocoa, baking powder, and salt. Gradually add to the egg mixture. Beat well. Spread into a greased 8-inch square baking pan. Bake at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes or until brownie begins to pull away from the edges of the pan. Cool. And it says it yields 16 squares. I don't know anybody who cuts an 8-inch pan into 16 squares. So I made mine in 8 squares. So I cut it once down the middle, and then I cut it in half the other direction, and then two more slices on either one of that center slice. And we had 8 brownies. So that's how I made deep dish brownie. Miss McGurk. McGurk is a little bitty town that Scott grew up in, and I guess I was talking about something else when we went through there. I didn't point it out, but this is St. Martin's. This is a little town. It's not really a town. It's like a suburb of Jefferson City, and Scott's son Joshua lives this direction. So he lives over on the other side of these woods over here. It's a little town called St. Martin's. So yeah, just on the other side of these trees is a little neighborhood, and he lives in that neighborhood right there. So this is nice. And we're gonna see him on Saturday. We're gonna go have lunch with him in Jefferson City. We're almost at Jefferson City. We have about 5 minutes till we get to downtown. We have to stop at one place in Jefferson City for an errand, and then we'll head on to Holt Summit. But I'll show you the way we go. So St. Martin is just a little, like I said, it's a little like a suburb. Although they have a Jefferson City address. If you sent them mail in St. Martin's, it would be a Jefferson City address. But yeah. As you may or may not know, Jefferson City is the capital city of the state of Missouri. And Jefferson City is about 8 miles away from where we're sitting, although Bighorn Drive, that's within city limits of Jefferson City. But they're about 134 miles from St. Louis. Being from Sedalia, we live west of Jefferson City, closer to Kansas City area. The Bighorn Drive, we take that exit. If we were going to go to my folks' church, we would take that exit. They go to Cornerstone Baptist Church in Jefferson City.
Apache Flats.
In Apache Flats, which is another suburb of Jefferson City.
That's racial.
And that's Menu Maker. They have food, the food distribution center for restaurants and stuff. There's the hotels. There's a furniture store. And there's a church over there. They just knocked down part of their building and they're gonna build it. But this one I think is, I can't remember the name of that church. And here we are, we're within the city limits of Jefferson City. There's a Hawthorne Cemetery. Lots of people are buried there. And here's the turnoff for Country Club Drive. The Country Club is here on the right. I can't remember if you can see it from the highway or not. Maybe not from this side. Definitely from the other side if you're going the other direction. But this is the Country Club right here. So there's that. That's the Country Club. And then they have an actual shopping mall, which is really puny. Just with all the other cities, all the shopping malls and stuff are pretty much defunct. They don't really have a whole lot to offer in them. They still have anchor stores and stuff. And because Jefferson City is the capital city, there's a lot of state office buildings here, so that's one of them. And there's a shopping plaza. We have a bunch of auto dealerships. And then here's the view of the city, but you can't see the Capitol building just yet. We'll be able to see the Capitol building here before too long. But it's a nice town. We like Jefferson City. We've always Scott and I both went to Jefferson City High School. Although we both agree that they should have segmented out the schools. But Jefferson City has a 5A sports program, and so they don't want to break up their sports programs and have different high schools. So it's the whole city, all the kids all go to one public school, and it's too big, it's too populated, and I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good place for kids to go to school, because there's just too many
drugs.
But if this town ever had some smarts, they would divide up. This town could easily have 3 full high schools, and it would be just fine. And they would still remain competitive in high school sports, I think. This town definitely needs 2 more high schools. So here we have the Capitol building, but we're going to turn off right here because we have an errand to run. So when we come back down the road here, perhaps I'll show you. I'm going to put it on pause so we can take care of our business. We finished with our errands, and at this point we're on Missouri Boulevard. I forgot to turn my microphone back on, so this segment doesn't have any narrative to go with it, but this is the main commercial road in Jeff City. It's called Missouri Boulevard. And it was funny when we were going through here, I was pointing out different points of interest. So Lee's Chicken is really good. We really like the chicken there. There's more state office buildings. Missouri Boulevard was the road that us, when we were in high school, we would drive up and down. It was the cruising boulevard. And so we always laugh about that because people don't cruise anymore. The kids will all run off. So, plus it's too expensive gas is too expensive nowadays. So people don't cruise the boulevard anymore. But the reason we're on this road is because we're going to show you the Capitol here. It's easier to get back on the highway from this road. Up here on the left, that blue and white sign that says Robo Car Wash, that's where everybody would turn around and go back the other direction when they were cruising. But there's the Capitol building and a city bus. But yeah, Jefferson City's Capitol building. It's an actual replica of the U.S. Capitol building. So when people look at it, it reminds them of Washington D.C. and it's a really beautiful building. They just had it restored. The dome was surrounded by scaffolding up until around February, and they finally took the scaffolding down, and it's been fully restored. So that's nice. But that's the downtown area of Jeff City. That building right there, and that you can see in the main picture, that's Capitol Plaza Hotel. That's the fancy hotel in Jeff City. But I will have to take you downtown sometime and show you around. This probably won't be the last time I show you around. I lost a whole bunch of my segments from the last trip. We had driven through Syracuse and Tipton, and I was pointing out points of interest in those towns, and for some reason, somehow I paused the filming, so I had footage, but it was paused, and it was one long pause, so I didn't get to show you the points of interest like I had wanted to. So I'll show you about Syracuse and Tipton as we go. But here we are at this point. We're approaching the Missouri River. So that's the Missouri River Bridge. And it's 3 or 4 lanes, one direction. And it's 3 or 4 lanes coming the other direction. And you can actually walk the bridge. So as you can see, there's a pathway with a bunch of padlocks on it, as it is, and the river is up. So, and then this is the way to Holt Summit. It's this is US 54. It's a north. It travels north and south, but it's an east-west highway. But we're traveling north at this point. And if you take this exit right here, it'll take you to Columbia. So, you go to Columbia, and that's where University of Missouri is. But Holt Summit starts in those bluffs over there. If you see those bluffs, there's some wealthy homes up there that are kind of nice. And like I said, there's the Columbia exit. People always take that to go to Columbia. A lot of people prefer Columbia over Jeff City, but we're just the opposite. We always get agitated whenever we're driving Columbia. It's just too crowded. The city boomed too fast, and the roadways didn't expand with it, so it was a hassle. It's often a hassle to get around in Columbia. That's that's a winery up there on the top of that bluff right over there. They have a restaurant and have their own wine and stuff. So we've never been there. But my mom keeps insisting that we must go there sometime, so we probably will, maybe. I don't know. For as long as we've lived there, we've never been. So the distance from Jeff City to my folks' house, it's roughly about 6 miles north. So we're at the point where we're getting ready to take this exit into Holt Summit, and got the elementary school over there on the left, and City Hall is over there on the left. Shopping centers over there, and there's a McDonald's and a Chinese restaurant and stuff. But we're taking this exit here, and those are some assisted living homes over there. So we take this off-ramp off from 54, and then we turn right onto East Simon Boulevard. That's the street my folks live on. So we're turning right here. And then we just take this little road. It comes in. It filters into a 2-lane road all the way down to a 1-lane road. And so driving down this one little stretch here is a little bit precarious because it's kind of got blind curves on it. So it's kind of hard to know if people are coming. So we go pretty slow. It's 30 miles an hour in there, but we usually go through it like around 20 just to make sure that we don't end up hitting somebody. And of course, there's city vehicle spraying weeds, and so we have to make our way around this guy in this little golf cart. They live in a real quiet neighborhood in the country. They don't have very many neighbors. They just have one house on the corner, and then 2 vacant lots, and then my folks' house. So here's our little country road that we go down to get to my folks' house. You go down this little winding stretch here, and there's a creek down here. It never gets high enough to cover the road, but it is. Oh, there's a car coming. I forgot about that. We stopped to let him go. But we go up this blind hill here. Sometimes it's hard to tell if someone's coming. But we go up that road. And then once we go up this other little segment here, we're pretty much on the home stretch now. So that's their backdoor neighbor here. They own a couple of horses. And then that house up there on the left, that's my nephew's house. And then that's my folks' house over there. They just put in city sewer over the winter. So the back part of their houses are torn up. So, but at least they have city sewer now. And this is vacant lot. Scott and I are actually going to build a house right there at some point. And then that's my folks' house. So yeah, we come out here. Well, I do. I come out here just about every Wednesday to help my dad. But that's it. That's where I go on Wednesday afternoons. It's pretty nice. So we're driving back into Jefferson City from Hope Summit. It's close to the end of the day. and we're approaching the Missouri River Bridge, and right here you can see the Missouri State Capitol building right there. Isn't that beautiful? We're about to go over under an overpass, and here we got the Missouri River Bridge coming up ahead of us. But over here on the left is the Missouri State Capitol building. We're pretty proud of that building over there. It's really nice. And they have guided tours every 2 hours. I think it's 6 days a week. They do it every day but Sunday. So every 2 hours they do a guided tour throughout the Capitol. And it's a very nice place to visit. So now that we're going over the Missouri River Bridge, I'll take a picture of the river as we're driving by. We got driving into the sun, but you'll still be able to see the river okay. So there's the river. It's pretty sunny. I don't know. You ain't gonna get a good view of that. It's pretty high though. And then there's the Capitol. I know, it's probably making y'all sick. But here we are, we're heading to Sedalia on US 50. So we're taking this set of roads to the right to Sedalia. Oh, it's bouncy. We're bouncy. I don't have any means to stabilize my video camera. But that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the Capitol building coming from the north. Alright, that's it. Have a great day. Bye.